Hello, how are you all? So, Senator Ted Cruz and actress slash activist slash hypocrite slash all around great gal Alyssa Milano got into a Twitter feud, and we're gonna break it down and go through it. This is pretty funny. So, it started with Senator Cruz tweeting out this. So, he retweeted something by Matt Weingard, and Matt Weingard tweeted this, and it was a chart, and it says, in 1980, the Democrats only won 9 to 100 of the highest income counties. In 2020, Biden won over 50% of the highest income counties. Part of this, of course, was due to Trump's unique character flaws, but also in part of a long-term party reversal. And he shows this graph right here, and you can see how people with the highest income have sort of switched through the years from Republican to Democrat. And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense, because where are a lot of these super far left ideals getting pushed into the minds of people? Typically at four-year universities, that's where people are being indoctrinated into wokeology and identity politics and safe spaces and socialism. You get the rest. So it does make sense that this is happening, and also with celebrity culture influencing people. So Ted Cruz sees this, retweets it, and adds this: today's Dems are the party of the rich. GOP is and should be the party of the working class. Now, I don't know if you remember, but Alyssa Milano and Ted Cruz have had Twitter debates before about gun control. They even had a meeting where they sat down and discussed gun control, and the irony of it was Alyssa admitted to having a gun herself. Back to the story. So Alyssa saw this tweet and responded with this. She says, "This is hilarious. Why is the GOP blocking COVID relief from working class families if it's the party of working class? Or blocking the bill to raise minimum wage to $15 an hour? Sit down." Notice the smugness in this, and it's quite funny. This type of attitude, sit down, or let me educate you, or I don't know who needs to hear this, these terms tend to come from the people that are the least educated on the matter. I was watching an interview with Douglas Murray and Dave Rubin earlier today, and Douglas was asking, why is it that the stupidest people are always the ones that want to educate you? So Ted Cruz responded with, "Alyssa, facts matter. Dems have twice filibustered a $500 billion in emergency COVID relief. Every single Senate Dem voted to block relief. Pelosi refuses to even talk because they believe maximizing economic pain helped Biden and it helps Dems in GA, and they trust the press to cover for them." And that was basically the end of the conversation. Alyssa also got a lot of crap from this from other people weighing in. He is right, and Nancy Pelosi has admitted she hasn't even talked to Donald Trump in about a year. And yes, it is the Democrats that keep blocking the bill. They've done one of two things. In the beginning, they were trying to sneak stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with COVID-19 into the bill. They were trying to bail out cities and states that were in a ton of trouble before the pandemic even hit. And they also kept adding in things for climate change and immigration that had nothing to do with the immediate need to get money to the people and businesses that have been affected by COVID-19. So that's originally why it was blocked, and then later on it was the Democrats who kept blocking the bill, and it seemed to be they did not want to give the president a win. But again, the media will twist it, making the Republicans look bad, like they are the reason that this is not going through, and that is actually not what's happening. But let's go even further and look at the last thing that she said. Or blocking the bill to raise minimum wage to $15 an hour. Sit down. Can't forget that part. Sit down. Well, I can sort of personally attest to that. I was actually working, this was a few years ago in LA. They raised our minimum wage, and I was working at a restaurant. And I remember the exact day they raised our minimum wage. Our minimum wage went up $1. And simply raising the minimum wage to $1 more caused something to happen. That same exact day, we got a new menu. All of the items on the menu got more expensive to make up for that extra they had to pay their employees. not only did we lose business because it started getting too expensive for people to come there, and I know this because some of my guests would tell this to me, I had to hear people complain every single day about why things cost more. Another point to be made about the minimum wage is small businesses who have had to let employees go to be able to cover the cost of the minimum wage. And so if you think about that, who does it hurt most? It hurts those small businesses, and then it hurts people on that lower income bracket level because now it's even more expensive to go out to eat. Who is it not going to hurt? The big businesses or the people that have the extra income, and that doesn't really affect if it's more expensive to do things. Another point about that is you see a lot of people arguing that the rich should be taxed more. So under Biden's tax plan, he wants to raise taxes on anyone that makes over $400,000 a year. Well, think about the people that make over $400,000 a year. Who are those people? It's the person that owns the apartment complex, or your landlord, or the person that owns the grocery store, or the person that owns the restaurant. It is those people. Do you think they're going to take that hit? No, they're probably going to make things even more expensive. And again, who is that going to hurt? The person paying rent, the person going to the grocery store, the person going out to eat. Think about this. In the 1920s, the top 1%, they were paying taxes at a rate that was like 72%, which is insane if you think about it. Yet they only made up for about 30% of the income tax. In a state here like California, I've said this before, our top 1% is taxed at about 45 cents, I believe, to the dollar, somewhere, sometimes even close to 50%. And they're actually paying more of the income tax. They're responsible for 50% of our income tax. So how do you explain that? When you tax people at a higher rate, the people that have most of the money will find a way to move their money so they don't have to pay that insane tax rate. They'll put their money offshore. They'll hide it in a corporation. There's a lot of different things you can do. And let's take it back here to California, where our top 1% only takes home about 50% of their earnings. They have the option to take residency somewhere else. To avoid having to give up 50% of their earnings, they can take residency in a different state that has a lower tax rate. A lot of people also criticize Trump with lowering the corporate tax rate, but what that did was that actually incentivized a bunch of companies to come back to America, giving people jobs. I mean, raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, yes, that sounds good, but so does running through daisies and singing Kumbaya, but that's not exactly how it works out. So Alyssa Milano, yet again, is just dead wrong in what she's saying. She hasn't replied to Senator Ted Cruz. I doubt she will in that instance, but let me know your thoughts on that. I hope you're having a good morning, and I'll see you later. Bye.